Hola clase, ¿cómo están ustedes? Hoy vamos a hacer unstressed possessive adjectives. Pero primero vamos a discutir cultura un poquito. So vamos a discutir un poco de cultura. We're going to talk about a little bit of culture. So have you ever heard of the Alhambra, La Alhambra? No? Well, that's surprising because it is the most visited monument in Spain. And it is also one of the most visited monuments in all of Europe and the world as well. So the Alhambra is in Granada, Spain. It is often considered the eighth wonder of the world. It's UNESCO World Heritage Site and the most visited monument in Spain. I think I have a special affinity for the Alhambra. I did my study abroad in Granada, Spain, and lived with a Spanish family for 6 months. And I had the opportunity to visit here weekly. And it was just an incredible, inspiring experience. And then I didn't visit it for almost 15 to 20 years and just recently went back. And again, I've really taken it in so differently about how incredible it is, so inspired coming back to see how it influenced me in my younger years as well. So one of the first things we're going to do is just watch a video just talking about it overall. Then I'll go back and touch on a couple of the points because I really could do a whole entire lesson on this, but of course we don't necessarily have time for that.
Do you want to experience something truly magical? Take a walk with me through one of the most famous monuments in Islamic architecture. The Alhambra is the most visited monument in Spain and one of the best preserved palaces in the historic Islamic world. The fortress dates back to the 9th century, and with its continuous occupation over time, it is currently the only preserved Palatine city of the Islamic period. Arabic calligraphy, mostly poems and verses from the Quran, can be seen everywhere. The phrase, "Only God is victorious," is repeated 9,000 times throughout the Alhambra. The most perfect Arabian garden in Andalusia can be found in the Royal Summer Retreat. Its name, Generalife, means Garden of Paradise. In 1984, the Alhambra in Generalife became a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and about 3 million people visit every year. So if you're going to visit, I highly suggest that you get the tickets ahead of time. It is a
So that gives you a little bit. I'm going to show you a couple of other things as well, just because it is just so fascinating. Again, what makes it really incredible is that it was this combination of Moroccan, Moorish, Arabian and Spanish combination. And so it's very exotic, as is the whole city of Granada. It really has a different vibe than the rest of Spain. But just to show you an example of the detail that went into this, one of the most interesting facts about the Alhambra is that besides being a giant book, a story, it can also tell you what time it is. Yes, the genius architects strike back with another amazing feature. The entire citadel is perfectly aligned to work as a massive sundial. At noon, half the rooms will have shade and the other half will have sunlight. So by looking at where the even like this building is and the different times of day, what time it is by the sun coming in and making these shadows. So it's absolutely incredible. It is a complex of different palaces, gardens, passageways, and fortresses. It was the home of a sultan and his family originally, but it was also home to the court and many of its workers. The Alhambra is the only Muslim citadel that is still standing almost as perfectly as it was since the beginning. And even with that being said, they had seismic architecture. And so there's been quite a few earthquakes in Granada, but they built this so that it would not fall victim to that, which is just really incredible to think about. This is just another picture from inside. And this is one of the gardens. And so I will kind of give you a tour of all of these things, but having this combination. So eventually what happened was Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand eventually, during the Catholic Crusades, defeated the Moors, and the Moors then were pushed down to the North Africa, now known as Morocco. And this was like one of their last palaces that the Catholic Crusades took over. And so actually from the outside, it looks like a huge fortress, and it doesn't look anything spectacular, but the inside is like this, like every single detail is absolutely like over the top, incredible. And so Queen Isabella and Ferdinand moved in here, and then they lived here. So it has a really unique history of three cultures coming together to make something really unique. So let's see. I know this is just the most visited, so I might just show you some photos of this. Oh, but there's no sound, but that's okay. It still can give you an idea. I mean, look at this. It's just so crazy. Beautiful ways, you know, it almost, I mean, to think of how old this is, if you guys can see right here, it just is unbelievable. And the gardens outside as well. You can actually have a wedding here. If you decided to. Okay, so let me go back. I just want to show you, there is a myth, and this myth is if you actually touch the hand, the legends of the Alhambra say that the carved hand and the key are placed so high because this way no one would be able to touch them. And so if you actually are able to put your hand on this, it says that that person would have right to be the owner of the entire palace. And so you can see how high that is. And obviously it's been centuries and nobody's been able to put their hand on that. So I thought that was a really interesting piece that I learned last time when I was there, just last year. So there are other places that you can go, just to give you an idea. This is the Mirador de San Nicola, and this is the Alhambra. This is what I was talking about. It's a fortress. And from the outside, it doesn't look like anything spectacular, but the inside, you've already seen the architecture is just so vibrant, just so unique, so meticulous. It's just really cool. So a lot of people come here at sunset, hang out in this plaza to hear music, see the beautiful sunset. Let's see, I think I have another view of that so you guys can see it a little bit better. So I was there about a year ago, and this was just an evening, and it was just unbelievable being able to watch that play out, and an incredible scene as well, and also brought me back to my days when I was a younger student, would go sit up there and appreciate that view. So what I'm going to show you guys now is just the garden, because the gardens are amazing as well. Like, I could visit this place. I've been here so many times because, as I said, as a student, I would come back. I didn't realize how special it was, until I returned later as an adult. Magical. Okay, so if you ever get a chance, you guys definitely check it out. This is called the Alhambra. It is in Granada, Spain. It is the most visited monument in all of Spain, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage. What makes it so unique is that it has Moorish, Spanish, and Arabian culture fused into one. So now to a little bit of ripasso. In our last lessons, we were doing time. So let's just see how well this is stuck with you. Como se dice 1:30? Es la 1:30. Muy bien. Como se dice 12:40? Remember, you're going to round up to the next hour, and then you're going to subtract how many minutes it is. Es la 1:20. Also remember, 1 o'clock is the only time you use es la when you're talking about numbers and time. 7:13. Son las 7:13. 8:35. Son las 8:35. And recuerda, los números son lo más importante, no? Knowing your numbers is the most important here, because that's what you need basically to tell time. Again, reinforcing this vocabulary that we're practicing is really going to be more helpful. So the review of your words. So this would be a more practice with that. Give me el opuesto de grande. El opuesto. What is the opposite of grande? Pequeño, pequeño, right? So you need to be seeing these words, hearing these words over and over again in order to put them to use. So a big part for you in Spanish 101 is memorizing the vocabulary. So what can you do to get better at that? Al apuesto de feo? Bonito, guapo, muy bien. Al apuesto de simpático? Antipático, muy bien. Fácil, difícil, excelente. Bajo, alto, bajo, alto. Okay, muy bien. So those were just your adjectives. So today we're doing possessive adjectives. So what is a possessive adjective? It shows ownership of something or someone. It agrees in gender and number with the person or thing being possessed and always precedes the noun they modify. So on your chart, you guys can use your cheat sheet. My in Spanish can be replaced with me or mis. And when I was talking about agrees with gender and number, if the object I like is plural, I'm going to use mis. If the object I like is singular or I possess is singular, it's going to be me. Your is tu or tus. His or hers is su or sus. Yours is su or sus. So you know, right here, this is a little bit confusing. We'll practice this for sure. Ours, this is where you can agree with gender. Nuestro, masculino. Nuestra, femenina. Nuestros, nuestras. These would be the plural of the masculino y femenina. There is su or sus. So, whoa, look at here. We have a whole bunch of su or sus. So when in doubt, just use su or sus. Just kidding. But obviously that would give you a higher percentage if you really weren't sure. So, I think it's almost easier just to put it into practice. So once you have this chart down, let's go ahead. We'll go over these notes real quick. Because su has so many interpretations, you can instead use a phrase with the preposition de in the following formula to avoid confusion. Su clase es interesante. Well, because su can mean his, her, you formal, their, like whose class is it? So I can clarify by saying la clase de profesora Miro, la mochila de Juan, la computadora de Maria. Okay, so this is one way you can clarify it and not have to use your possessive, your unstressed possessive adjectives. Su libro es viejo. His book is old. Whose book is old? His, hers, yours, theirs. El libro de Juan es viejo. El libro de, I don't know why I'm blanking on names today. El libro de Josefina es viejo. El coche de mamá, mom's car. Okay, so this is another way around it. If you could not remember your possessive adjectives or you had to clarify. So again, let's put this to practice. Me, mis, tu, su, sus. Here they are, right on the left-hand side, your possessive adjective. My book is boring, but now we're like practicing all of it together. So having your list out is going to be really helpful. So my book, well, book is singular, so I'm going to say mi libro es aburrido. Mi libro es aburrido. Now if I said my boring book, mi libro aburrido. Mi libro aburrido. Okay, his pen is red. Su boli es rojo. Su boli es rojo. So remember too, your adjectives are agreeing with your noun. Your possessive adjective is agreeing with how many you have. So there's only one pen, so it's su. With number 3, his pens. He has more than one pen. So how are you going to say this? Sus bolígrafos son rojos. His pens are red. So it has nothing to do with the number of people. It has to do with what you possess, if that's singular or plural. Número 4, their dog is ugly. There's only one dog. Su perro es feo. Su perro es feo. Número 5, her name is Shakira. This goes back to the beginning of the semester when I would ask you, ¿Cuál es su nombre? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? So you've actually seen these possessive adjectives. You just might not have realized that they were. Su nombre es Shakira. Mi nombre es Bridget. Tu nombre es Jennifer. Okay, so her name is Shakira. Their map is small. Remember, there's only one map. Su mapa es pequeño. Mapa es masculino, entonces el adjetivo es masculino también. Our friends are smart. Nuestros amigos son inteligentes. Nuestros amigos son inteligentes. Her pens are blue. Sus bolígrafos son azules. Remember, when we're making things plural, at the end of a consonant, you add es. Sus bolígrafos son azules. Número 9. Nuestro profesor es pelirrojo y loco. Our professor, if you made it feminine, nuestra profesora es pelirroja y loca. Y número 10, your dog is mean. Your dog is mean. Tu perro es antipático. Tu perro es antipático. So, hopefully you guys have a better idea of our possessive adjectives. We'll continue to practice them. We'll practice them in your quiz. I've also attached another little video of the Alhambra. Please check it out. There'll be a couple of questions on your quiz that involve this piece. So make sure you guys reach out to me if you're having any issues. We're entering Module 3, which means we are almost halfway through the semester. What can you do right now to put yourself in a better position to be successful? We're going to be halfway. It gets a little bit stressful during this period of time. So what can you do to prevent your future self from being more stressed out? If that's reaching out to me, please do that. I'm happy to work with you. Que tenga buen día. Nos vemos pronto. Ciao.